Welcome, guys. How you all are doing? This is D Durrell with D Durrell the Rebirth and Simon Cassin also with D Durrell Life Solutions. I'm getting things ready and so forth. We're gonna sit back and listen to to some music for a little bit, and I'll be right back with you. All I wish with a light-skinned girl. I'm in love with a light-skinned girl. Avatar. All I wish with a light-skinned girl. I'm in love with all I wish with an avatar. Yes, I'll buy you a stove. Yes, a refrigerator. Don't care about you haters. Yes, I'm in love. And I don't give a damn if you don't ever care about. Why don't you leave me alone? I'm gonna ride for her and I'm gonna win it strong. I'm gonna go from channel to channel. I don't give a damn if you think it's a scandal. I love light skin girl. They make my world out. All I mess with is light skin girl. I'm in love with a light skin girl. Avatar. All I mess with is light skin girl. I'm in love with all I mess with an avatar. Yes, I'll buy you a stove. Yes, a refrigerator. Don't care about you haters. I don't care how stupid I look. I have a form and I'm more than sure. I'm gonna travel across the Atlantic. Think goddamn G.I. made it panic. I almost lost it to Game Changer, but she turned them down. She want a big ass black ass sailor. All ass with a light skin girl. I'm in love with a light skin girl. Avatar. All ass with a light skin girl. I'm in love with all I miss with an avatar. Yes, I'll buy you a stove. Yes, a refrigerator. Don't care about you haters. Check out you looking stupid. Got a nigga looking crazy. I already knew you were shady. Streaming content is lazy. When the bitch jump on a panel, it get too hot to handle. Superman come to the rescue. A nigga knows that it is true. Sipping hard. Oh my god, you make a form animal, right? A motherfucking fantastic fraud. A motherfucking fantastic fraud. Motherfucking fantastic fraud. A motherfucking fantastic fraud. All I mess with is light skin girl. I'm in love with a light skin girl. Avatar. All I mess with is light skin girl. I'm in love with all I mess with an avatar. Welcome, everybody. Again, this is D Durrell here with the Conscious Clientele. Happy to be here again. Appreciate everybody that came in earlier today. Appreciate all the love that I received before I get started, I definitely want to give a shout out to Tiffany for coming in. She was the first one to make it in here today. And also, I see Catherine Brown is also in the house. Shout out to my Louisiana sister, my cousin. Appreciate her for coming in today. So, basically, guys, we are going to have a discussion. I am going to give a somewhat of a psychological breakdown from my perspective as a therapist as it relates to Chad Wheeler. What led to this situation. I'm going to talk about domestic violence. I'm going to talk about domestic violence within the Black community. So we're going to pretty much tackle these issues. I'm going to try to give as much of a in-depth analysis as possible, and try to make it as interesting to listen to. Because I don't want to get too much into the semantics, too much into the theoretical stuff, because it can somewhat come across as being boring. I don't want to do that. So what I want to talk about is just looking at the optics of this. Okay, let's just look at the optics. And when you look at the optics, what you're seeing is this is a 310-pound man at 6'7", white guy, entitled white man, beating the hell out of a Black woman who he's like 5 times her size, Miss Aaliyah. That's her name is Aaliyah. They found out that her name is Aaliyah. I've checked out. I use CNN as a source, so that's who I'm quoting. Okay, that's who I'm basically got my information from. That's who I am going to quote. I am looking at the CNN report. So CNN is a reputable organization, allegedly, but that's who I'm going to focus on. So I'm going to take a look at this and focus on some other things that preceded this particular situation from happening. Because too many times people want to focus on the actual event and the fact that it happened, what triggered it, why did he get mad, why did he go to that extreme, and so on. But I'm going to look at it in regards to events that preceded this situation. Now, this guy is a young man, only been in the league 3 years, in his mid-20s. And he's an okay player. He's bounced around a couple of teams and so on. And I really think that this guy has some brain issues due to concussions. I also think that this guy potentially is probably on steroids or some other type of medicine or substance that triggered that level of rage. See, I'm going to go into the fact that he tweeted, which I think is convenient. He tweeted the fact that he has bipolar disorder. I'm not going to discount that, okay? Because bipolar is a very difficult disease to manage, okay? But just because you're diagnosed with bipolar don't mean that you have the right to blame your rage, which he said I had a manic episode, because a manic episode can surface in a variety of ways. But to say that you choked a young innocent woman that's 5 times smaller than you twice, and then you had no empathy, the fact that you thought she was dead and said, "Oh, you woke up." Where was the bipolar then? Because when people are in a manic episode, they don't think rationally. They have flighty thoughts. They're very impulsive. They may shake, they're jittery. and so on. They act out and do things hard to stay on task. They're all over the place. But the fact that you choked this woman, then sat your ass down, okay? And then when you saw that she was up again, you sat there and talked about, oh, what are you doing? I thought you were dead. I'm sorry. You were calm. That manic episode disappeared. Of course, I'm not there. But see, it's funny how when white people commit crimes, they swiftly blame it on mental illness. This is as it relates to serial killers, people who commit domestic terrorism, those who go out and kill people in mass shootings. Oh, it's a mental health issue. He was out of his mind, didn't know what he was doing, didn't know wrong from right and right from wrong. But when it comes to Ray Rice, when it comes to other people who've committed crimes, you're a criminal. You're a miscreant. You deserve to be in jail and never come back to the league again. Why am I not hearing that same viciousness towards this guy? Is it because he did this to a black woman and not a white woman? Is this the value of a black woman, that she doesn't have the value of a white woman? Therefore, we don't give a damn? This is not the first time that this man has treated this woman this way. It would be very difficult for me to believe, as casual as he handled this situation, the fact that you're on social media apologizing, the fact that you were surprised that she woke up. Come on. I'm sorry. Yes, you probably are suffering symptoms. Yes, your medicines may need to be adjusted. Yes, you probably are in psychotherapy, which is much needed. Obviously, you have an anger management problem. But it would be irresponsible for me to believe that you have other things that have influenced your behavior, such as possible concussions that may contribute to this. Even as a young man, multiple hits. I would say his brain really needs to be evaluated and needs to be assessed to see what is really going on with him, because it is not just the fact that he has a mental illness. I think he has brain damage. I also think that he's an evil son of a bitch. And I would be also curious to see his history with dating other women. If he treated them this way, especially this woman, where there are multiple incidents of domestic violence. They're trying to treat this as if this is an isolated event, as if there were no other issues or no other behavior similar to this that he contributed to. I would have to beg you differ. I think there are a variety of things that happen over time. And I think that as many times with people in the majority culture, they have the ability to get away with things that we can't. Okay? And we're treated much different. We are treated much differently as black men and black women when it comes to issues of this level. I want to know what his medical records look like. I would like to get more information on his mental health history. I am not going to yield to the fact of a couple of tweets of him saying, I'm sorry, and so forth. I was manic. Okay, you probably were. But that does not immune you from the fact that you still harmed a human being and you should be in prison for it. You should be found guilty and going to prison. He has been charged with first-degree domestic violence. He also has been in charge with unlawful imprisonment. So that means that you were forcing her to stay there? And he also resisted arrest, which they're not talking about. He was tased several times. And it is reported by CNN that he did not respond to being tased, meaning that it had no effect on him because of his rage. So what's up, Mommy? What's up, Outlaw Like Easy? What's up, Pink Lady? How are you doing? What's up, Dr. Bombay? What's up, Expose the Manosphere? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you for being in here. What's up, Miss Mello? Miss Mello H, how are you? Looking cute. So this is the perspective that I am going to look at this from. Because the media is basically suppressing this topic. This individual that you're seeing on the screen is a man that will not, unfortunately, be held accountable for his behavior. He will not be held accountable. The media will not hold him accountable. He had a bond of $400,000, which he posted quickly, without a doubt. Okay? February 9th, he will have to go to court and give a plea. Or he's going to plead guilty, not guilty, or whatever. As I looked at this and searched through this article from CNN, it focused so much on how sorry he was, want people to feel sorry for him, trying to put him in a light of him showing empathy towards the victim that he terrorized and nearly killed. That was the focus when I read this article. Okay? That was the focus. Now, we have not heard anything, not one iota from Aaliyah, the victim. I guarantee you, when she is able to speak, she will be coached into minimizing what he did. She will not sound like a person who was psychologically, physically damaged. I'm not going to say she's not going to sound damaged. She's going to create. They will coach her. This is how the media works. This is how they do black folks when white people do bad things to us, and we're not allowed to be angry, upset, pissed off, and want to kill somebody for doing what they did and get revenge. What she will do is talk about the fact that she loved him, she cared for him. She's gonna say what kind of relationship they had, and that she probably wanted to marry him and have a family. She loved him. She tried to help him. She tried to be supportive. She's going to talk about all the things that could have happened and how positive the relationship could have been, and the fact that he could not manage the situation that he got himself into. No, it was not attempted murder. There was no charge of attempted murder, Robert Nelson. He's been charged with domestic violence assault, resisting arrest, and unlawful imprisonment. Three felony charges. It should have been attempted murder because he actually was surprised that she woke up, and he proceeded to do the shit again. He wanted her to die. If she would have died, then we'd have a whole different narrative. And he would have hit the body, or he would have walked off and act like nothing happened. And he would have claimed that she hit him or something and would have gotten sympathy in that manner. But the fact of the matter is that when you look at the context of the article that was written, it was all about him showing empathy and trying to get empathy from others. Okay? That's what the nature of the article sounded like. Okay? The Seahawks even act like they didn't want to have nothing to do with it and said how saddened they are by Chad Wheeler, and they condemned the acts that he did of domestic violence. He tried to kill this woman. This should have been attempted murder. He actually tried to kill her. But see, Miss Aaliyah, they're going to be all in her ear. They're going to be all these people that are going to bombard her. And they're going to tell her to do this and do that. And they're going to coax her into minimizing the acts that he bestowed upon her. And you know how they do black folks, particularly older black folks and so on. They're going to speak about, I'm going to give it up to the Lord and I'm a Christian and things. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know if she's going to do that. But that's how black people act when white people commit crimes against us. We start bringing in the religious piece and the forgiveness. You know, all that bullshit. But I have a question. It's funny how this always happened to black people who are, all of these tragedies of white people committing crimes always happen to black people who are fanatically Christian or who are devoted Christians. How come this ain't happening to black atheists? How come this doesn't have to happen to black Muslims? How come this is not happening to people that practice African spirituality? It always seems to happen to the black people who seem to be devoted Christians. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but it always appeared to me that devoted Christians go up there and coon they asses off, and they try to minimize the atrocities that happen against them. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm sick and tired, but I will be watching with great interest how she is interviewed once she heals up and so forth and able to talk. To be honest with you, in her position, she should not be doing any interviews at all for at least the next 3 to 6 months. She in her state of what she went through, she is not psychologically capable and emotionally capable to deal with being on TV and being grilled about the whole situation. That's my professional opinion. If I was her therapist, I would tell her not to do it. Because two things can happen. She can deal with a great deal of anxiety through the whole process, which she probably already has now. Probably may have PTSD due to this happening. And again, I am very confident that this is not the first time that this man has harmed this woman. Matter of fact, I would go out on a limb and say that he has probably had a history of hurting multiple women. But what are they going to come out like they did for Bill Cosby? Are you going to see high school, college girlfriends come out and say, oh yeah, Chad did this to me back in 2016, 2012. Is that going to happen? No. When this shit happened to Ray Rice, he was on every news outlet the next goddamn day. And his wife. He was grilled by the league, all kind of women's rights groups, domestic violence, this and that, acting like they gave a damn. And he never recovered. That's facts. And he never recovered. That is facts. And there will be people coming out saying he needs to help. This is going to be the mantra, guys, in the media. They're going to come out and talk about how psychologically damaged this man is, but they won't talk about how psychologically damaged the victim is. They will not talk about how psychologically damaged this woman probably is going to suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, due to the fact that she has been battered by a man that's 310 pounds at 6'7", and probably can bench press 300-400 pounds. So imagine a man of that strength and that size strangling a young, petite woman. But they won't talk about that. They won't, as just like with Ray Rice, they showed that video 100 times, even though it was on camera. Are they going to repeat the traumatic event over and over of him choking her multiple times? Are they going to talk about that? Are they going to talk about how horrible of a human being he is? We're not going to hear that, guys. I'm sorry, but we're not going to hear that, unfortunately. We're not going to hear that. I would say, could we hear, or is he going to talk about getting therapy along with some anger management? Intense anger management. Not some bullshit ass anger management class just to satisfy the situation. See, they're not going to talk about that. But let's also look in depthly as far as how he views black women. Is that possible that he fetishized her? Is it possible that he's beat up other black women? Is it possible that this man probably may be a white supremacist who likes to date and have sex with black women and dehumanize them and so forth? Because there are white men like that. We are seeing all the time and hearing about black people who are in, particularly black women with white men, and these white men are beating them up and killing them, and are being non-remorseful of the situation. But yet we got Pink Pill running around YouTube. Crystal and Karasin. That's why I put the Pink Pill effect. This is a primary effect, example of Pink Pill effect, because this was a young, attractive black woman attempting to practice hypergamy with a guy that has probably made millions in the last 3 years in the NFL. And probably after this, we'll get a shot at making a team again when this is all said and done. I guarantee you, this man will not get any prison time for doing this. This man will receive 2 to 5 years of probation, a host of community activities that he will have to participate in and complete, along with the anger management, the therapy, and his mental health treatment. Probably have to go to places and speak on domestic violence and things of that sort. He's going to get a nice slap on the hand. You're a good, wholesome white boy that just made a mistake. You won't do it again. Don't date another black woman. Move on with your life. Let's have a good day. Case closed. This is the narrative that has happened every time we are involved in a situation with white people and they are given a slap on the wrist. I don't understand pink pill. For those that don't know what pink pill is, go check it up, look it out, look at it yourself, because it basically encourages black women to seek partners outside of your community because black men simply are not good enough for you. So if you're wanting a high-level black man, you're going to have to seek white men and then other races of men. That's what pink pill teaches. Now, I'm going to play. Let me get a chance to show it. I wish I had a chance to show it. See if I can find it. She actually did a video on this, and she took it down. I'm not going to say it because the avatar actually made highlight of it, and I don't want to give her credit. So I'm going to just leave that alone. Yes, Kai, I gave you a wrench. Okay. But an analysis of pink pill assessment of this, she tried to minimize and dilute the fact that this was a white man causing harm to a black man. What she focused on is the fact that other races of men do the same thing, especially black men. Black men do this to black women all the time. And the statistics show that black men are the least likely to engage into domestic violence with black women as it relates to any other race of men. Hispanic men and white men are at a higher rate participate in domestic violence over black men. Period. It ain't even close. And yes, guys, you can hit the Cash App. Darrell $77. Donate to the Janice House. Appreciate that, Catherine, for putting it up there. I'm dropping these gems because this is us looking at this. This is conscious clientele. We have intelligent people. Okay? And yes, Catherine, we understand that black women are also more aggressive than other women. But also black men understand that when we participate in any acts of domestic violence, we're going to get a stiffer penalty than any other group of men. It's particularly white men. We all know of the unfairness of the criminal justice system as it involves black men. And this is just another situation to give rise to that. These are facts. These are facts. Shout out to Dr. Bombay for the $10 Cash App. Appreciate that. So let's continue. What's up, Edward Bailey? So we have to understand, guys, and I'm going to walk you through what bipolar disorder looks like. So when we're focusing on bipolar, which is a mood disorder or an affect disorder that is characterized by mood instability, that is either, that is periodical, in which a person's mood can be highly manic, and then it can also go to being highly depressive. It's unstable. When we look at bipolar disorder, people engage in risky behaviors, impulsive behaviors, flighty thoughts, dangerous behaviors that put your life at risk to get a thrill. You crash. Crashing meaning once you come down from the manic episode, you may sit for days in your bed, depressed and not wanting to move or do anything. Expansive speech, jittery, shaking, highly talkative. These things happen and it presents itself differently with human beings. Some people can be manic one day, depressed one day. They could be up and down, manic and depressed throughout the whole day. It's different for different people. Some is more severe than others. There are what we call mood stabilizers. There are mood stabilizers that pretty much manage your mood. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I do understand that that there are mood stabilizers that can reduce the symptoms, such as Depakote, Lamictal, lithium. Those are some, Integritol. Those are some of the major ones. There's others. If some of you may know this, may be familiar with that, with mood stabilizers that affect bipolar disorder. I don't know how many milligrams or what he was taking, but he's going to give up an insanity plea. This man is not insane. You may have a mental, just because you have a mental illness don't mean that you're basically insane. That doesn't mean that. That does not mean that. I also want to give a shout out for the Cash App from Yellow Rosa, Texas. She definitely blessed me earlier today. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. The super chat that you gave me earlier today. I think Yellow Rosa, Texas is in here. She was in here earlier today. I just want to give her a shout out. If she's not, next time I see her in here, I'm definitely going to give her a shout out. I don't think she's in here. So the difference, because see, the legal definition of insanity is the fact that you cannot tell the difference between what is right and what is wrong. The psychological definition of insanity is the fact that you do something over and over and you think you have a different result, but it also includes the fact that in regards to your awareness of what is real and not real, which is primarily associated with psychosis, in which you have a distorted or you have an inability to determine reality. I'm sorry, guys, but Chad Wheeler was in reality. Now, he may have had a manic episode, a heightened state of instability in which he committed horrific crimes against this black woman. However, he was aware of what he was doing. If you were not aware of what you were doing, you wouldn't have said, "Oh, how did you wake up? I thought you were done for good." That doesn't sound like a person that doesn't know right from wrong or doesn't know what's real and unreal. That sounds like a person that knew exactly what he wanted to do. He was angry and he wanted to kill her. His intent was that she never woke up. He was surprised that she woke up. And he went about doing the shit again. Why would you resist arrest? You resisted arrest not because you were manic. You resisted arrest because you felt you didn't do shit wrong. You felt you didn't do a damn thing wrong. Now, guys, it's funny that this happened because right now, guys, I haven't talked about this a lot, but I am actually working on a domestic violence program for my center as we speak. I am getting the CEUs or the clinical hours, the continuing education classes that are necessary for it. I'm almost finished. I got another maybe 5 to 8 more hours to get. I'm actually going to be doing another domestic violence class through BIPP, in the next 2 weeks. And I've done domestic violence before, as far as class and in therapy. And I've had incidents of people doing stuff like this, causing pain to other individuals with no remorse, feeling that it was their fault. She made me do it. She should have just did this and that. Now, a lot will be told when she comes out and do that interview. When she engages in that interview, I will watch it with great anticipation to see whether or not she was coached or not. Because this is how the media does things. This is how the media does situations with black people when they're the victim. Okay? We don't get treated the same. Again, they're going to minimize. They're going to minimize the behavior of this man that you see right here. And yes, I do think he's potentially a sociopath. He probably has a personality disorder along with his bipolar disorder. Definitely X's too. Potentially. I don't know for exactly. They're going to do everything to minimize what he's done to her. And they're going to focus on him being sick mentally. And they're going to attempt to get her to not talk about how horrible of a person he is. She's actually going to talk about how great he was. It just so happens that he has a particular problem that is difficult for him, and that the fact that I'm this black pygmy who's going to be there to support him and love him through it. I'm going to practice hypergamy and be by his side. This is what's going to be told. It's going to be disgusting to listen to. That's basically where I'm getting at. It will be disgusting how they're going to play this. Now, I think once she gets out the hospital and once she gets herself healed up, you probably won't hear from her for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Potentially. And then when she gets out, then you're going to see more coverage, and then people are going to start drawing more conclusions. And they're going to paint him into this light of a white man who just don't know how to control himself, and he has this ongoing mental health issue. That's holding him back. You're right, Tiffany. He probably beat her up every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Exactly. But we won't hear that. We won't hear that. What we're going to hear is that Chad took care of me. He gave me a better life. I met him in college or wherever. He's such a great guy, but he just has this one problem, this one flaw. That's what you're going to hear. And it's sickening. Dr. Bombay says, I just want to know where are all the Me Too and Now groups? Where's the witch hunt and ladies from his freshman class who now have the courage to come forward? I said that earlier, Dr. Bombay. I wonder we're going to get people coming up from his past that are going to say he did these behaviors. It won't happen. But see, black women, I want to like you all are to me going to be at the forefront to have to support black men in unfair situations, and black men, we have to support black women because I am in support of Miss Aaliyah, even though I'm not a person that is for interracial dating. I don't want to see any black woman get hurt. Period. But when you look at the level up hypergamy groups, when you look at the pink pill practitioners, they have a propensity to ignore the fact that these issues happen and that just because you date outside your race, they give this unrealistic perspective or experience of everything is going to be stress-free and these are just going to be stand-up guys. Exactly, Dr. Bombay. I agree with this. She's going to be sitting there with Barbara Walters like Robin Givens was with Mike Tyson. What's up, Water Sniper? He says, she does not have to do too much to defend him. You already have plenty of black women on YouTube and Twitter defending him. Well, I haven't heard too many black women defending him, but I heard Pink Pill defending him. Pink Pill practitioners are defending, or they're not necessarily defending it, but they're trying to minimize it, to excuse it. And my thing is that this is just like how people treat Umar Johnson or Lennon Honor. I'm going to say Lennon Honor. When we talk about the shit that Lennon Honor does, which is a lot, then we want to deter the conversation to what Umar Johnson, as if Umar Johnson is at a low level like Lennon Honor. There's no comparison between the two. Lennon Honor can't even lick Umar Johnson's boots. There's no comparison. So when this happens, the pink pill practitioners, level up practitioners, the get the bag practitioners are going to talk about what black men do the same things. We're not talking about black men at this point. This is not a black man that engaged in this. We're going to focus on the men of this race and the men that black women who practice interracial leveling up, divestment. If you're in that particular group, black men should never come up. You don't value black men. You don't think we have any value. So why are we even being brought up? Let's just strictly focus on the fact that white men do this and they do it at a high level and they get away with it at a higher rate than they would get away with it with dealing with white women. If this was a white woman, the media would be responding totally different. They would respond totally different. Black women don't support that. Ms. Mello says she don't. There's others that don't. Now they're probably, you know how the YouTube is. You got people with all types of all types of backgrounds and experiences that are going to always be contrarian and say whatever the hell they want to say. But I'm merely stating the fact from a psychological standpoint that what probably happened is that this man has routinely done this and she has stayed because he's affording her a lifestyle that she probably never had before. This man probably has a sense of entitlement due to his whiteness and his athletic ability and the fact that he's an NFL player. He thinks he can get away with anything. And yes, he has a very severe mental health disorder that can be managed. That can be managed if he wants it to be managed. What I should have heard from Mr. Wheeler is that the fact of I need to be in therapy immediately. I need to make sure that I see my psychiatrist. Maybe my medicines are not working or not as effective. Maybe I need to be in therapy and use the tools that the therapist has given me to deal with domestic violence situations or anger triggered situations. Well, you know what, James? You don't have to be here, brother. Nobody asked you to come in here. So I'm going to go ahead and time me out. Dr. Bombay says, this was probably the worst incident so far. One can only imagine the verbal abuse that went on. But she would never tell it. She would never say, never verbalize that he probably called her a nigger. And what frustrates me that people think that nigger and nigga means something different. No, it doesn't mean anything different. And other races don't have the right to use the goddamn word. I'm pretty sure he did call her a nigger. Doesn't matter. If you're around other races of people, and if somebody called you a nigger, you would respond angrily the same way, regardless. So miss me with the ER and the A expletives. Or the differences. There's no difference. There's none. Dr. Bombay says she moved in after 90 days. How could she possibly have known him enough to make sure a serious step? Again, this is a hypergamy move. You mean to tell me a woman that probably had no skills but looked great wouldn't mind moving in with a guy that probably makes upwards of maybe $800,000 to maybe $2 to $3 million a year? Are you serious? And he's living a lavish lifestyle that she could only dream of? Why wouldn't she want to move in 90 days? When we're looking at the divestment and the pink pill and other communities,
That's their dream. It doesn't take a pick-me long to commit. Pick-me's don't take long to commit. Women who are in the divestment community don't take long to commit if you have the resources. See, they value resources over character. Obviously, we see Chad Wheeler he basically eludes character, therefore he has money. But this is what it gets you. You sacrifice character for resources, then you're bound to fall victim to the lack of character. Period. He probably called a nigger doing sex. Probably whipped her, calling her slave, this and that. Probably called her all kind of names, and and to be honest with you, there are black women who get turned on by stuff like that. They actually don't have any children, Miss Mello. They don't have any children. Thank God. Thank the Lord. I wonder if this is the first black woman he ever dated. It sounds like it's not, because he moved her in after 90 days. It sounds like he's been dipping in chocolate a long time to be that comfortable to do that. Just Morestrong says a lot of swirlers are silent about abuse. The others don't want to speak out because they feel like you're going to mess it up for them, for the rest of them. See, this is delusional thinking, because you're not evaluating the risk versus the reward. I don't get the point of them even talking, because I have no respect for people who date outside the race but want to constantly talk about the men in their race. I don't get that. If I was dating a person of another race, I'm not going to shit on black women. Matter of fact, I lose my black card to even talk about them. Once you engage in that situation, you don't have a voice. At least you shouldn't. You know how black folks are. We love to get along, to go along to get along. We love to love everybody more than we love ourselves. So James G said, well, you use the N-word all the time, disparaging folks, LOL, at you. You're triggered. Look how you talk about black women. Don't forget you came from a black woman. I don't talk negative about black women. I don't know. James, I'm going to have to block you for that, because I don't disrespect black women on my platform. So I don't know where those comments come from. They're unfounded and they're not true. So I'm going to just give you a little time out there. Okay? You can kind of chill out. So this is what he went through. I will watch with much interest how this basically develops over time. Definitely will. So as far as his treatment, a person that anything similar to this, that how I would treat him, number one, he needs to be in therapy immediately, at least once a week. He should be committing to also going to an anger management class. That's at least 10 to 16 hours, 1 hour classes, along with the therapy, to strictly deal with anger management. I also wouldn't be against him going to some bipolar groups, which it's not necessary, but that wouldn't hurt. He needs to be reevaluated by his psychiatrist. See if to assess whether the medicines are appropriate for him, if they're working, maybe need something stronger. He also has a no contact with women as of right now until he goes to court. And he should be separated from women. He should not be around any women, period, until the courts say he can be around women. He should not be allowed to participate in any NFL anything, just like they did Ray Rice. And he's a free agent. He should not be participating in any activities associated with the NFL. He should be suspended from the league until he's satisfied all requirements of which I know he's getting probation. This man is not going to jail for this. So if you think he's going to jail for this, I hate to disappoint you. He's not going to jail for this. Should he go to jail for at least 2 to 3 years? Yes. Or 5 years? Yes. But he's not. He's not going to jail for this. No way. No way will he go to jail for this. Now, I'm going to open the panel. I definitely would like to hear if any women would like to talk about this. If men want to come up and talk, that's great. But I definitely want to hear from women to get their perspective. If she dropped the charges, that will actually give me more validation. That would definitely validate that she's an abused person. If she dropped the charges and moves back in with him, she is definitely an abused woman who needs a lot of help. Because that's the thing that domestic violence victims do. They repetitively forgive the abuser, thinking they're going to do better, think they're going to treat them better, they're going to be better days. And then, before you know it, you're getting beat all over again with the same issues. Wondering, why is he treating me this way? Oh, well, mommy says she can't drop the charges. It'd be to the state. She can choose not to testify, which she will. Yeah. Can the prosecution case? They can still move on without her. Yes, they will. But they'll give her a slap on the wrist. Give him a slap on the wrist. Michael Africa Tucker says she's an abused woman. There's no way that was her first beating. He meant to kill her. Yes, he did. He meant to kill her. So he should be given charges that are worthy of him wanting to kill her. And he should be sentenced. Charged and sentenced based on his act. Anytime you go back to see and you're surprised that they woke up, that means you intended that she never woke up again. She got what she deserved. Yeah, it will weaken the case. Yes. It would definitely weaken the case if she don't testify. I'm telling you guys, when she began to give interviews, watch the rhetoric that she will speak. Watch how she will be coached in saying certain key phrases to make him seem less criminal. And watch how the media acts with him. And when he's interviewed, where's Gail Kim and Oprah for this one? Are you going to see Gail Kim and Oprah interview him Are they going to be as aggressive as they were with black men? Only time will tell. Hey, Tiff.
Hey, family. Hey.
Hey, how you doing? What's going on, sis?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I just want to say that it's the first time in YouTube history that I disagree with you.
With what? Which one? With what? Tell me what you disagree with.
He should be. You said he should be suspended from the league until he's satisfied this, that, and the third. I would like to state, I think he should be banned from the league 100%. He should be treated exactly how Michael Vick was treated. Now listen to me here. This is why I say this. We all know, but why the way the white supremacy power structure is situated, they're not going to hold him with attempted murder. I'm not surprised because they don't value black life, let alone black woman life. And let me explain why I say that. Malcolm X said it best. The most unprotected person on the planet is the black woman. So dogs, in Vick's case, got more justice than a lot of these unarmed police shootings of black men and women. So I know they're not going to charge him with first-degree murder, which is exactly what it is. It was premeditated. You and I both know, everybody with half a brain, including Lenin, can read the definition of first-degree murder, and this fits. But the way the white supremacy power structure is set up, it's not going to happen. And let me tell you why he resisted arrest. It wasn't because he didn't want to go to jail. It wasn't because he didn't want to be placed in custody. He resisted arrest because he was thinking to himself, wait a minute, I'm white. How dare you officers arrest me? I am privileged. This is my country. I own this. This is nothing but an N-word black woman. How dare you arrest me and think what I did to her was illegal? That's why he was resisting arrest. He don't believe he did anything wrong. He is a complete sociopath. Now, if that had been me, and I not choked you out, D, baby, if I had just slapped you or crashed up your car, I would have faced more time than this fool is going to face. He was surprised that she lived. He was surprised that he didn't strangle her life out of her and was nonchalant about it. Yes, he fetishized her. Yes, he used her for her body and used her as a status symbol. But at the end of the day, he didn't give a damn about her. And that's what we Black African Americans, African global, whatever, need to understand. One thing that Dr. Johnson taught me, he broke down when we were in class together the rules of white supremacy. Rule number 3 and rule number 1 apply to this case. Rule number 1 is all white people are racist. And let me explain, because I know a bunch of people in here got their coon chip activated when they heard me say that. Okay, so let me break it down how I was taught by Dr. Johnson. That every white person has an obligation to uphold white supremacy. They can be your best friends in your face. They could be your husbands. They can be your teachers. They can be the most wonderful person in the world. But at the end of the day, they're not going to do nothing to dismantle the system of white supremacy because they want that privilege to trickle down to their grandkids, i.e. that right there, by definition, categorizes them as a racist. Rule number 3 of white supremacy is that white supremacy is ruthless. Now, you can't tell me that a person beating the dog mess out of this lady and then being surprised and nonchalant that she lived and then had the audacity to think that he's above reproach, that he can't be taken into custody. That's not ruthless to you? Talk to me, baby. Talk to me.
Exactly. Well, I agree with you. Now, the reason why I stated as it relates to him being able to come back to the league is because they let other white men come back, so I expect the same to happen for him. I'm looking at it from a position that's based on the history of how they allowed white men to come back from doing crimes. And I'm gonna give you an example. The quarterback Roethlisberger actually did worse things than this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Ben Roethlisberger raped. I'm gonna say Ben Roethlisberger sexually assaulted multiple women. Each of you saying rape. and it was quiet, and Ben Roethlisberger actually didn't serve no jail time. He actually, this happened like at least, I know of at least three occurrences of Ben Roethlisberger sexually assaulting or damn near rape, really rape, to be honest with you, because he forced,
while married,
yeah, while married, and but this was before he got married.
Oh wow!
And Ben, because the first time that was only one situation that happened back in 2000. I want to say 6 or 7 or something like that, around 2006, 2007, that got a lot of attention. And Ben Roethlisberger was at a party or something he was doing, and he sexually assaulted / raped this woman. And he didn't get suspended. They made him do all of this counseling and classes and stuff, and he went back to work. He didn't lose his contract, and the media suppressed. They showed it for like a week, and after that, they suppressed the whole situation. So that's why I stated I'm only going with what I'm not saying that. To me, yes, he should be able to come back to the league because he should be in jail. But I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah. So here's my thing, right? I just want to say this quickly, and then I'm gonna hop off. It's gonna be very controversial here. You feel me? So first of all, I want to preface this by saying that this man we have on the screen now, he's a demon, he's a devil. What he did to that black queen, it's just unconscionable. There's no excuse for it. We call it, like fuck prison. He should have a good like 10 minutes just free fall with black men, right? For me, let's us handle him, right? But with that being said, are we gonna give any accountability for her dating this white man?
Does she have any accountability
for dating this white man?
I don't think that she had dated the white man with the intent of getting her ass whipped.
No. And here's what I say, right? She has no blame whatsoever, right?
Not in getting her ass whipped.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, no, facts, facts, right? But when it comes to my personal pity and sorrow, I'm a Pan-African where, when it comes to dating outside your race, I personally see that as treason, right? So
right.
How can I feel sorrow and pity for a treasonous person? You feel me? So that's what I personally say, bro. Like, we should use this as a learning lesson, right? Like, queens, bro, stay away from these men. These men will never love you the way we love you. Feel me? These men are not dating you for love. Feel me, right? Like, it's a pride thing. It's ego. So again, she's definitely not to blame, but stay away from these white men. Stop dating white men. And that's all, man.
Stephen Gaetano said you're not Pan-African.
Flacco.
Right? What's up?
Flacco. Okay, then I need you to keep that same energy for the black men who date outside their race, and then they get done hella doulo and dirty by these white women. The first chance they get, they activate their white privilege to lie on them and try to put false allegations of rape, whatever. It happens all the time. At the end of the day, Dr. John Henrik Clarke, Dr. Umar Johnson, and Dr. Claude, I'm losing his name.
Claude Anderson,
all three of them.
Yeah,
okay, but listen, all three of them have said that black people have no friends. No friends in any race whatsoever. We have no friends. And the problem is we don't understand the rules of white supremacy, and we also don't understand how diabolical and on code white people are. And that's how their supremacy is able to flourish. It's because they're on code.
And we're not.
And we're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, look. And again, right? Again, I hate to diverge, but somebody says, I hate to say this, but doesn't Flacco go ham for Latinos? I go ham for Afro-Latinas. Meaning...
Whenever I'm ready, Deidre.
Meaning, right? They are African. You feel me, right? So, again, I go ham for Afro-Latinas. Those women are a special breed. You feel me, right? So, again... but they're still black, right? You feel me? Like, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if Umar Johnson dates an Afro-Latina. Why? You know, they're still black people, you know. So, yeah, man, you know, let's just please use this opportunity to teach our black queens, bro. Stay away from these white motherfuckers, bro. Feel me, bro? Like, they mean no good for you.
You do know, Flapper, that there's a lot of interracial stuff in Africa now, with a lot of Nigerian women marrying white.
Cool, yeah. Whoa, here. Well, again, right? Here's why that dynamic is a tad bit different, right? Because, and here's why. She is more than likely, again, if she's getting married and staying in Nigeria, then she's treasonous, right? But if she's saying, yo, I'm trying to get married so I can come to the States and help my brothers and sisters over here fight the good fight against white supremacy, then all that is a trick, right?
No, she's still a bed wench. Are you serious?
If she's saying this, wait, pause, listen, right? If she's saying this, I'm gonna use this white man so I can come to the States and help my brothers and sisters fight the fight against white supremacy. I'm gonna use the enemy, but to turn on himself. How you can't be
I want to say
strategy.
I have to call bullshit.
It's strategy, man. Think about it.
Let me tell you strategy. No, listen. Strategy is when you're trying to come up, a real come up, where you're very effective. Dating a non-black man just to come to the States, you could do that by finding a black man or any African person here in the United States to do that. Now, in regards to them, there's always an intention and agenda. And we all know what most women, just like some African brothers in the continent, when they interracial, is always in the form of godliness, because they look at these people as gods. Hell, I heard there are white Christian statues not only in Nigeria but in Ghana. So right there, you know where the pathology and mindset, the whole continent is, a good portion of Africa. Now, I'm not saying that all part of Africa is like that, but with 54 countries, more than half would probably want a white person because they feel it's not only a come up, but it's like touching godliness.
Man, the most white worshiping motherfuckers I ever met in my life are Nigerians.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most white worshiping motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. White people can't do no fucking wrong to Nigerians.
You know why? Because their Bible tells them that they gotta look at these people as gods. So if they sodomite your daughter and your parents, you'll find out that you did something to make them do that. And I find that to be very much insane. But it goes back again. Because, and you know, it's a good thing, Deidre, you talking about this, because I don't see much women right now talk. Well, there are a few consecrated women that is slowly talking about this. But really, the women that are, what it calls, said they are leaving the community and they are divesting. This will never be something they look at because they feel because they've been around blackness so much is bad, is evil, this and that. So let me go over here and I'm finding some comfort, safe. Mm-hmm. See, one thing I've learned with women, they will kindly accept abuse with certain men in power. And this is an honest fact. Much women don't want to listen to that. But to find that this man was so bold to be her ass because he wanted to be treated like the master and she don't want to be like the mistress was a problem, from what I'm hearing. That's why he went on his way to beat the living hell out of her to the point where she was surprised that she's still alive. Even to the point where I'm not sure if the cops were called on or whatever, that he feels the audacity that they shouldn't lock him up because this is his property. That's what he's saying.
Mhm.
Why are you
So-
locking up? This is my bit. As a matter of fact, last question, Deidre. Are they married?
No.
No, they're not married.
Okay, so it seemed to me if she stays, that tells me she has a lot of things going wrong with her psychologically. That she's hoping that she gains some at the end with abuse.
She
And
is
I'm
going
telling you
nowhere.
right now, I'm
Yeah,
telling
we
you,
don't know.
listen, I'm telling you right now, that's not gonna fly because if this man almost beat you to pulp your life, I guarantee you, if he goes all the way to the side and marry you, and it goes south. You know the rest.
Hey, wait. Listen, right? So look, I definitely want to touch on a few things. Again, in terms of white worshiping in Africa. So here's my point to this, right? Is wherever the white man is, there will always be a form of coon and why, right? Because the coon chips are the tastiest treats known to mankind. The coon chips can change your fucking life, right? So, of course, there's gonna be some cooning, but the majority of our sisters are saying, "Yo, I'm gonna marry this white man, so I could come to America, but to save our black brothers." That's one, and then two, right? That female is not going nowhere. She's gonna get out the hospital and go right back to that white man. You know why, man?
You think so?
Of course, right? Here's why, right? There's no conditioning a bed wench, right? Once a bed wench, always a bed wench. You cannot reform these people. You feel me? If a black woman who grew around black brothers, black uncles, is seen a example and a symbol of black masculinity, and she's seen all that power, all that depth, you feel me, and all that intelligence and a masculinity that existed in the black power structure, and she turned her back away from that to go ahead and marry a subspecies. She is not just a bed wench. She's a coon. That woman cannot be reformed, right? If she don't go back to him, she's gonna go back and find herself another white man, and that's facts.
Well, I'll say this, Mr. Flocka. Some women, on the average, belong to the streets. So we just leave them be. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
They belong to the streets. You get me? And
Hey,
most
man,
black men that and any man that catch the radar on this know who really she is. And
Our
said,
black women
I don't know about
not
that.
the streets now. You feel
Okay,
me?
guys,
Yeah.
listen. At the
Okay.
end of the day, I hear what y'all are saying, but as the only woman on this panel, I think it would be a miss for me not to say at the end of the day, I don't agree with interracial dating either. I'm totally with Dee Durrell, but she's still a victim.
Of
She's
course.
still
Oh
a
yeah.
victim.
Of course, she's still a victim. Yeah, and my issue with all this that we could as people stand up and say something about our people that decide to interracial, but overall because how the climate of our community is, because we have an issue with it in totality when the men do it and when the women do it, that you're not gonna see much response. All you're gonna find for most people that does content podcasts, they're just gonna demonize her, just like women will demonize the dudes that go out, and there's no resolution. We're not gonna stay on code. Say if this is one of our own, and we're not gonna appreciate you did some shit like that as a collective. Unfortunately,
No, it's not going to happen because what in a perfect day, all black athletes should sit down until they fire him completely from the NFL, but that ain't going to happen.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. And mind you,
You're free agent,
the
though.
black athletes could do it because there's more black men in the NFL than them.
They could, but they won't.
They could be, but they're not because they are comfortable with their checks. They're $40 million slaves. They're comfortable with that.
And listen, man. Again, right? So look, again, to be fair, right? He's right now is being held without a job. So like he currently don't have a job right now, right? So that's good, right? You know, but we'll have to watch it in the offseason because again, my brother, right? It don't matter how many black athletes speak up. The white woman's tears is the most valuable currency in American society.
Facts.
All that has to happen, right, is for that man's mother or a sister, but to meet with a team, shed some tears, and convince them that he is reformed and he will have a job by tomorrow, right? Right. So again, right, no matter how powerful that black athlete is, he is not more powerful than the white woman's tears. That's the most valuable currency in America, and that's facts.
Mm-hmm. But you know, a lot of black men are aware of this. That's why when they swirl, they're very cautious how they run with that Becky. You know what I'm saying? That's why you think well, that's why black women don't have that same luxury. Now, I'm not telling what they should do, but no one's saying that if you're going out over another community, stay over there. Stop throwing shades over here to the men that's trying to do something, because it shows that you made a wrong mistake if you decide to go out and still complain about the men in this community. I find that very much weird.
I don't agree, right?
And not only is weird, I have to say with the brothers the same way. You go out, you stay over there too. You know, for most black people that don't really concern. You know, and this is what the problem with a lot of people when they date out, they feel say I got a prize, so I'm gonna throw it in your face. It's the most immature type of behavior any person could emanate and show.
I agree.
I don't agree, right? And here's why, right? Again, because our black women are not for the streets, right? You know, like again, right? They're for us, right? So if they are willing to be reformed and changed, we will always have a home for them, right? So let's not say, yo, she's for the streets.
No, what you said?
Huh?
What you just said?
So let's not say
what home? What home?
We have a home for them. You feel me?
What home? What home?
What home?
What home you talking about?
He's saying that basically she can always come back home.
Yeah.
Black people are opening our arms, and we're not going to turn our backs on her.
Well, you know, this is my thing with a lot of our people that decide to go outside the community. It's going to come to a point, I don't know if I'm going to see it, that black people need to stop opening arms, let people that decide to go that direction come back home. There should not be no nest they can come back to, period. But because we don't have that discipline as a collective enough, that I would say, yeah, she might have a home to come back to in this community, because overall, by default, our people accept everything. Hell, we accept people that will shoot and stab our people for less. You get me? So,
yeah,
you know,
I somewhat agree with you. I think there should be a level of accountability. There should be. You can't be a disrespectful ass Jew and then be welcome open arms back in the community. They hold you to a level of accountability, and so do the Asian culture. So I kind of agree with you there, but I also agree with Flacco. I agree.
Hey, guys, right? Also, too, right? So here is why we have to afford black men a certain level of flexibility when it comes to dating white women, right?
And you out your damn mind.
Here's why.
No. You can't give them flexibility, because if you give flexibility,
here's why.
you're going to take more than what you're supposed to get.
Right.
They have enough flexibility. Right? You're doing enough of it.
Here's why, right? Because look, again, right? We must provide black men with a certain level of flexibility that we do not allow our women. And like, here's why, right? Because it's this: the white woman's tears are the most powerful currency. So, as a strong black man like myself, right? If I date white woman, right, I will utilize her power for to fight white supremacy. So
you were so right? fucking. Oh right? My gosh! I gotta throw your ass under the bus with that one. Are you serious?
That doesn't work, Flacco. That doesn't work. Black men have already tried that. That don't work.
Flacco, I need you to do me a favor. From this point on, never, ever, ever say you are a Pan-Africanist, because you just completely shitted on the concept with that statement you just made.
I'm not saying me, right? I'm saying, right, like we cannot dismiss all black men again. All black
Yes,
men
you can.
as cool
Yes, you can.
because they can automatically reuse and utilize the white woman's tears and power, but to come back to
You can't, Flacco. What you don't understand? Do you understand it? Do you how much American history do you? Don't you know that's a history of black men attempting to do that and it didn't work?
They ended up hanging from trees, Flacco. It don't exist. It don't exist.
Hello?
Here, right? Ask me this, right? Are you guys saying the Frederick Douglass, they didn't, utilize like white women,
no, he didn't.
He fucked up when he married her. He fucked up when he married her. And everybody want to talk about that white woman that he married, but they don't never want to talk about Anna Douglass that he was with for 40 years before he got with that white woman when he was old as hell and senile and he married her.
But see, the other thing they're not looking at, I'm gonna tell you, Flacco, how that was the worst mistake he ever made, even if he was old and senile, because all of Frederick Douglass's work, his scholarship, everything that he did when he died was inherited by that white woman in the hands of white supremacy to manipulate and do what they wanted with it. That did not create all of his life's work went to the very same people that caused his struggle. So no, that was a loss.
Here, right? So here, again, right? Educate me, right, on the history of Frederick Douglass, right? Here, didn't that white woman assist somehow him and his wife in terms of their route to freedom?
No.
No, she didn't.
She didn't do shit.
She didn't do any of that.
Hey, can I just chime in real quick here?
Yeah, sure.
The conversation. Hey, one thing I would just say in terms of interracial relationships is, especially marriages, is I think that you're not good for the community. First and foremost is because marriage is a business relationship.
Thank you.
There are financial components that come along with it. When you enter into a marriage, you are combining yourself financially with that man, with that woman. And when you do that, you're combining property, you're combining debts and inheritance. And a lot of the times, the wife, so say for instance, if it's a white woman, the women they typically live longer. So when the black man dies and he's the one with the money is left with that white woman, and that goes to her family, which is her. She has white kids, her white cousins, her white family members. So that is helping the white community by dating outside our community by doing that. So in terms of that does not help build wealth in our community. It actually hurts us.
It doesn't do anything for the community, actually. It has no benefit. Interracial relationships have no benefit to the black community. Absolutely none.
That's why when you have a lot of the, these well-off black men, I think it's not as much, I don't see it as much as I like back in the 90s when I was like a lot younger, but a lot of the people seem as soon as they got that money, especially, like the Eddie Murphy, the older generations, as soon as they got money, they got a white woman. So a lot of the times it was the white woman that ended up with like a bunch of money. For instance, Tiger Woods' first wife. She got, how much did she get? Like $200 million or something like that?
Yeah, so like $100 million.
That went to her white family. That's going into her white family, and she's remarried to a white man.
Exactly. And they basically living off of Tiger money that nobody worked on. Nobody helped him work. She basically came in the back end and got a nice settlement.
Right. And I don't know how ridiculous. I hope they realize how ridiculous they look.
No, they
really
don't.
do. I think
That's the
it's so
thing.
embarrassing.
They don't realize it. That's why it continues to happen. But see, this is the issue. They always want to. The whole thing is about you can't control who you love, which is a lie. You can control who you love. They also say that I don't see race knows no color. I mean, love knows no color. That's a lie too. As always, these little reasons to deflect from the fact, but you never see rich white men or rich white women dating black people. That's that unless that black person is already. You don't see rich, well-to-do, middle class, mostly rich, popular rich white men and women don't typically just date an average black man or woman. But you see average white women, average white men marrying wealthy black people. Just like Tiger Woods. That girl was a nanny. The lady was a nanny who was working a housekeeper, and he married her. But you don't see that the other way around. You don't see a black girl that's a housekeeper, minimum wage worker, marrying the rich, wealthy white billionaire. Do we have any stories of that? No, we don't. And see, that's the issue that I think a lot of interracial daters and people who swirl, they don't understand that. And they don't understand the economics of marriage. That the fact of the matter, by you participating in that, you basically put all your resources in the hand of another group of people that don't like you.
Well, here, right? So, listen, right? So, but then, right, on the opposite, there's like guys like Jody Meeks, who, was a dusty Negro from the trenches, who went viral, for being quote unquote fine, and then he got in a relationship with an heiress, right? So, in a situation,
she fetishized him, Flacco. She fetishized him.
Yes.
Is that the one that was the dude that was a model?
Yeah.
Was a model out of jail. Okay.
He was a criminal, like some sort of convict or inmate
That's
somewhere.
That's the problem is that when they do date black people, it's a fetish for them. So it's actually more insulting. Sex. Oh, he got her pregnant?
Yeah, right. Right.
And what did he do? He was with a black woman who held him down in prison, and when his shit went viral, he dumped her.
She was mixed and looked white. So, right, it's kind of weird, right?
We gotta stop with the colorism though in our community though too. Just because somebody's light and they have light eyes, you don't have to be demeaning of them because they are light skinned people. Because I have a lot of people that are light skinned in my family. There's no reason why we have to differentiate them from the rest of us. We're all black people.
Thank you.
We come in all different colors, and and most of the times it's against things that are beyond our control.
No, that's true.
So we can't. It's unfair to say, oh, this person because they look white. They can't. Especially Black Americans, we couldn't control who we had children with for the longest time.
Right.
It's in our DNA. We come in all different colors here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
From Mariah Carey to your color.
That's so true, White man.
So yeah, I'm just saying. So like that type of divisive. I just hate to see that type of color divide within. We're divided enough. We don't need that.
Yeah, but where did it all come from? Once Black people understand where it came from, on how the whole white phenotype is put on a pedestal as the standard of beauty that everybody should strive for. So then when you see a Black person with any type of like if they're on the spectrum, the closer they are to white, the more beautiful they are, light skin, quote unquote, good hair, light eyes. It means that they're quote unquote automatically more attractive than people who are closer to the African phenotype. Where did that come from? That came from white supremacy.
It did. And that's bullshit too, because I've seen some light skin with green Max V, he's ugly as fuck. That's your example right there. He's light skinned with light eyes. That is the ugliest fucking man I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Damn.
Man, God bless
example. So
Damn.
God, man, bro.
I'm
God bless
gonna
that dude,
be
bro.
honest. What's her
that
name?
is
The
an
one that
ugly
does.
ass black man. That's light skinned with green eyes.
What's the lady name? The one that does the ADOS. Yvette. She not that. She not attractive at all.
Well,
Who? Wait, who are you talking about?
The lady that does Yvette Carnell.
Oh, Yvette Cornell. Okay, yeah.
She's not attractive.
Well, she did herself. If she prettied herself up, she might.
Nah, man. She not.
If she,
Nah.
feminine herself up a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe there can be something in there. I don't know.
Y'all reaching.
I don't think she's that. I don't think it's just that she likes to present herself as a man. But I don't. I think maybe if you.
But she's with a white woman, right?
Oh God.
Y'all didn't know that?
Like
No, I didn't.
Wanda
I did not.
Sykes. Oh,
I did not know that, man.
Are y'all kidding me?
You
mean to tell me y'all didn't know you didn't know Yvette Carnell was with a white woman?
I didn't know she was gay.
Yeah, she gay. That was the
I
whole
did not
thing.
know that.
That was the pushback. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. That because I used to do heavy
An ugly white woman.
Yeah, she is ugly too. But I used to do heavy ADOS content.
Did she try to look like a dude as well? Never mind. Keep
nah, she kind of feminine looking. She not. She not. I read.
So Yvette's the man.
Yeah, she's the masculine one. But
Wow.
that was the issue with a lot of people giving pushback for her because the fact that she was taking money from George Soros and the fact that she had she was in an interracial relationship.
Right. And there's that's kind of, I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't really support her. I support ADOS. I don't support that woman. I never have. I just have my own personal views on how I see that, and even more so, knowing that she's she's with a white woman. Like, what are your that means that you're not fully vested. I don't really see you fully vested with black people when I see that. So I don't know.
Yeah, the thing about it is that Yvette Carnell,
because there are plenty. I shouldn't say that word. Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, Yvette Carnell is a person who is probably low key in the LGBT community, although she won't say anything about it. Matter of fact, she's never really mentioned the LGBT community or anything. So she's definitely more about being for black people. But the fact of the matter that you're in a interracial relationship, it kind of makes it not genuine. So
right. You kind of looking at her with the side. I didn't even know she didn't even speak about it. I thought she would have been open about that.
No, she doesn't. If you
sexuality, okay. So she's kind of like a Queen Latifah. Like, we know what she is, but she doesn't speak about it.
She never speaks about LGBT community, and she never speaks about her relationship. Because I didn't know it. Actually, to be honest with you, I didn't know. I mean, I knew she was gay, but I didn't know that she was with a white woman until probably maybe about 8 to 9 months after ADOS was really taking off. Yeah, but see, ADOS is a.
Let me ask you this. So there's, that's her as a person, but then you have, the actual ADOS, the actual movement, and what the political, the political push behind that. So Yvette isn't ADOS. We have to keep in mind that they're not one and the same. She's not the personification of ADOS.
No, she's not.
Right, but so I have a question. So, and it comes to like a masculine black lesbian that presents herself as a man, and you see them with a white woman. Like, for instance, we see like Wanda Sykes. She's married to a white woman, and the other lady that does the news, I forget her name, but real popular lady that does the news. She's married to a white woman. Do you see that as like kind of reverse, like opposite, like for like a male coon, like, but for them, because they present themselves as a male.
No, I see you as a female. If you're a female, I see you as a female, whether you try to present yourself as being masculine or not.
But they're thinking they're thinking in a masculine way. Are they using the masculine part of their brain more? I would assume.
I don't really, to be honest with you, it's very difficult for me to think that a black, even if she's attempting to think like a man, you're still a woman. You still have to biologically deal with certain things that a man don't have to deal with. Now, they may present themselves as such, but
Right.
from a psychological standpoint, you're still a woman. Regardless of if you dress and you want to not
Yeah.
show your feminine qualities, we have to understand that those are actually, it's a difference between being a man naturally operating as a man as opposed to a female attempting to project a certain image of being a man.
Right. I hear you. Yeah.
She's still a woman. She's still a woman.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I look at it from this perspective. Interracial dating is interracial dating, regardless if it's heterosexual or homosexual. You know, so the reality is that a person who claims to be for their community, you found it within yourself, whatever preference you have, you did not prefer the people in your own community.
And do you think that there's a more of a slap in the face if it's a white woman versus if it's like a Latina or an Asian woman? Like, do you think it had all the same equivalent?
It's all the same. You still chose. The reality is that for you to claim that you're so much for the community, wouldn't you want to take someone to benefit from you and you benefit from them in the same community?
Some of them feel that as long as they're not white, as long as they're white, I can date whoever I want. As long as they're that person, using air quotes, a person of color, a woman of color.
So let's look at it like this.
I'm doing devil's advocate here. I don't believe
it. That's good. But so let's look at it like this. Look what happened to Kobe Bryant. So that $400-500 million, did they go to the black community?
Nope.
His daughter's is black though, right?
Nope.
Who's black?
No, his wife. His wife is Hispanic, and that family of his, which they're not talking about. I know they're trying to just focus on the mother, her mother being money hungry, but I can imagine she got a whole bunch of other
Kobe Bryant
family members that's over there trying to bite off of the cake, also off the cookies too. So that money is going to the Hispanic community.
Are you talking about Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. What's his wife's background?
She's Latina.
From Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Now she's from Mexico. She's from Mexico.
Puerto Rico. Okay. Because see, I view them a little bit different. Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, but okay.
No, she's Mexican. But so my thing is that money, all of his resources, yes, he does have black daughters and so on. But I guarantee you, those mixed daughters that are mixed Asian, that are mixed Hispanic and black.
Well, the world don't see them as that, but
they are not married. They're not marrying black men. I guarantee you, those girls that are raised in that household, they will not be marrying black men. Because you know why?
The men that they go on a date with, will let them know that they're black, some way or other.
The way that they grow up, and I'm not saying it's because they are well-to-do an amount of money. They probably interact with very few black people. Period.
Absolutely, yeah. No.
So they're not marrying black people. They're not.
No. Even more so that you have to consider also the mother too. I know there's when the mother in an interracial relationship, when the mother's black, the psychological effect on the child is different. That the way that the outcome on the way that they look in terms of race is I notice is a lot different than if they have a white mother. I don't know if you noticed that, but I've noticed that. Like with Tia and Tamira Mowry, you have one sister that the sister and the brother, I think, well, all but they don't have as big of, in my opinion, of a cooning problem with them as you see if they were to have like a white mother.
Well, Tamira do. Tamira got a huge problem. Her racist as hell.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know
well,
her, but her sister and her brothers are different. Are different though.
yeah,
I mean, they're still that there, but it seems to me that when the mother's black, they have like a more connection with their black part than they do if they have a white mother. I noticed a difference there from my experience. I just noticed it.
yeah, I agree with that. But she actually, when I was done with Tamara, when they actually showed
Are
they
you
were
talking
doing
about the one married to the black man or the one married to the
no
white man?
the white one, the one that's married to the white
I
man.
don't. Yeah, I don't pay attention
Before
to her anymore.
she married him,
I was always
they
doing her.
she was looking for she was single,
Yeah.
and Tia tried to they tried to hook her up on a date, go on blind dates and stuff. So they were trying to get her to potentially date a black man.
Oh God. I already
She
see
sat
this.
there and she cried at the date.
Oh no.
She sat there and cried like that was like the worst experience of her life, to actually sit there with somebody that reflects more of what you look like. She literally sat there and cried because she wanted to date a white man.
Wow.
Oh wow.
God.
Now that's
What-
cool. That's
Now, when I saw that,
That's wow.
when I saw that, I was done with Tia.
And
I
she's
was
probably more close.
Man.
She's probably closer to her father too.
I
Nah,
was
that's
done.
cooning. Nah, that's cooning. Bro, I've never
What-
seen such cooning before.
She literally sat there and cried.
Wow, that Negro cried because
Mm-mm-mm.
wow, she cried because she wanted to date the white man. Bro,
Yeah.
that's
Mm-mm-mm.
holy shit. Bro, what kind of psychological, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Yo, and she's so pretty. This should be, like, she is so pretty,
She's
bro.
not as pretty as the sister that dates that is married to the black man though, and identifies as her black side though.
Well,
She's not as pretty as her. The whichever
but
her
they're
name
the same,
is. I get
right?
them confused.
but they look the same, right? Like, I can't tell the difference.
They
between
do,
the
but
two.
you can still. One's a little prettier than the other. Still, I can still
She's
kind
more-
of tell. But yeah, I don't
She's
know.
cooler, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's definitely true.
I'm gonna say that it's crazy, man. She sat
But
there.
you're right about the daughters though. I even noticed that with what's Obama's daughter? Is it Malia Obama? She don't pay no black men no other black boys no mind. She's
Nope.
interested in that white boy that's a billionaire or his father's a billionaire.
Yo, I will tell
But
you this.
she's in that same ilk of same pool of black girls that are they're well to do. They brought up with
So it's Serena
privilege.
Williams. Yep, the Williams. Yeah.
Yo, listen. Yo.
Yeah.
Obama's younger daughter, like the one that's like 19 years old. My God.
Wait,
Yeah,
who?
she is very pretty.
My
Sasha.
God.
Sasha's not like Malia though. Sasha's different though.
Oh, my God.
Sasha's don't come across to me like Malia though.
I'm talking about thick,
She actually
Five-
had her prom
Oh,
date
my
was
God.
black.
5'9", thick. Oh my, bro. She's gonna be a problem when she gets older, bro.
What do you mean a problem?
Not like she gonna be somebody like top 5 in the game, bro. Like I don't see better, bro. Bro, she is right now, bro. Like she's like she's like top tier bad, right? I mean, just fucking gorgeous, right? And she hasn't even
They're both
embraced like
pretty,
her
though,
sexuality yet, bro. I'm telling you, oh my, bro, Tiff, she is bad, Tiff. She is gorgeous.
I think they're both pretty.
Yeah, they're both
Who?
pretty little girls.
Tall
I don't-
one? Nah, I don't think the tall one is that pretty. Like she,
I'll be honest with you. I don't like the way she look.
yeah, man.
Well,
But
she
I
has
think
that.
it's
She has a build that the white boys like. That's
tall,
what white
skinny.
boys like. Mm-hmm.
But that younger
So-
one, who's like 19, man, bro, she different. She's
That's
a
why
different
her
type.
prom date was black.
I know. He looks scared too, though.
Because he got.
Shit, I'll be scared too. I'm dating a president dog.
Yeah.
I'll be a little intimidated by that.
But that's
But
interesting dynamic, though, don't you think? Being like a growing up, being a younger person, like a child from a lot of money that just so happens to be black, because you have to think of like what area you're going to be brought up in, what schools you're going to be brought up in. That's very, like, how do you keep them like grounded and still not turn out to be like a sellout coon? That's just a hard plate. It's just interesting.
Nah, man, facts.
I think it
agree,
has a
man.
lot to do, when you say it has a lot to do with the parents, in terms of they're rearing the child, making sure that they remember who they are, like, that there are they are actually black people in this world, and
Well,
not try the whole interracial, multicultural mindset.
of course.
I don't know.
Well, look, their parents though, like their parents are Negroes, right? It's like they like remind me of people who are like, like they're like down. You feel me? Like Obama ain't no sucker, right? So like
Yeah.
they're growing up with like black folks who identify with their blackness.
Mhm.
But man, yo,
But
Obama
it's
got
just
some good genes, man.
it's just an interesting situation to grow up in, being wealthy and being a black person, being a black kid from a lot of money. Though I could just see that being hard, and then coming out being in your right mind and still having a black mind, though, trying to keep yourself having a black mind, because
well, I know one thing for Tamara, man. Tamara is when she did that, I was done with her, and her husband, the stuff that he says, and she makes excuses for
I
him.
don't know what's her husband said. What is her husband? What has he done? I don't know
Man,
much about
he's
her
a
husband.
social
I know he
trouble.
does stuff with Fox News, but
Man, he said all kinds of stuff about people and Trump supporters stuff. He was echoing racist stuff that Trump would say, and he agreed with it, and all that kind of stuff. Man, and she sat there
And
mhm.
defended him.
and supported and defended him
Mhm.
for the negative stuff that he said. So,
Yeah.
That's my
I think,
husband.
yeah,
I'm gonna support him, which is right,
I guess.
What do you think about Selena Williams? Like, what's your view on her? Do you think that she's
The same.
she's in the same? Okay.
The same. Man,
Hers
yes, she
different,
is. No, she ain't. Just because
Black
she
men
married.
don't find her attractive though. Listen,
Yes, they do.
I've seen black men.
No, Flacco. I ain't never heard of a black man that said they would not want to be with Serena Williams. I ain't never heard that.
They call her too masculine, huh?
Nope, I never heard that.
Yeah, man.
Then they said it was too much ass. That may be what they said.
I'm talking about like her. I'm talking about her
I never heard a black man say that.
like being in that whole that bedwench mentality.
Serena
mindset, really.
Serena dated a lot of black men before she decided to settle with this guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
But this guy, man, I'm like, come on, man, like, So she's all into the. I think the guy's Turkish or something like that.
Yeah, he's Armenian, the same country.
Yeah, Armenian. She's all into the Armenian culture and shit now, and she basically left her community. Now she's wearing the garb. She's wearing the garb that the Armenians wear, and the culture and the religion and all that. So she gave up her community to basically be incorporated into somebody else's community. That's what she did. And her daughter is being raised as an Armenian, to think Armenian, not to think black.
Well, come on.
The interesting thing with that is that the world is going to tell them that they're black, though. No matter what they tell them they're going to do. With these mixed children, there is no such thing as mixed. There is no such thing as mixed. You are a black child. It is nothing.
And that's gonna lead to cognitive dissonance. Yep. And it's going to cause a lot of psychological problems.
When they get called, when the first white boy calls them the N-word, they're going to have their N wake up call.
Yeah.
realize, oh, what's all this mixed stuff, multicultural stuff about is a bunch of BS. I'm just,
Not a
I'm
fact.
just like everybody else, I guess.
That is facts for
They're
real.
going to have a homecoming ceremony.
Yeah, I agree. So, it is what it is. I mean, that's the way it's going. I mean, the guys doing to this stuff, they're not looking at to me, a lot of black people go into interracial dating with a very naive mindset, and they have this go lucky. The world is just open to everything, and they're going to, everything is going to be, swell, and it just doesn't work out that way. Actually, it works out the direct opposite. So it's unfortunate, but that's the truth. I mean, that's what happens. And what I don't like, and what I hear on YouTube, is that we have a great deal of people who want to date outside the community, but they want to talk about the community, or they want to talk about the women they chose not to marry. So you want to talk about black women, but you're sitting there with a white woman. Once you marry that white woman, you have no, to me, relevance to have any discussion about black women. If you don't want to date them, that's fine. But when it comes to talking about it, that conversation is reserved for black men that want black women, not you. But the problem is that they have a hard, and the same thing for women. They have a hard time understanding that. They feel like just because I dated outside don't mean I still can't be in the community. Well, if you wanted to be in the community, you would have dated someone that's in the community. If you love the community that much, you would choose a mate that's in the community. Point blank. That's just simplified as it can be. There's no talking around that, and that's it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Anybody have any last minute talk? Any statements?
Nah, man. I enjoyed the conversation, man. Peace, folks.
All right, Tiff.
I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for allowing me on. Ashe to my, Black African power to my people.
All right, Ashe. All right, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming in today. We had a great talk. There's a lot of provocative talk and statements and so on. Again, guys, I'm going to be doing content throughout the weekend. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about some other things. I thought it was just necessary to talk about this particular topic. I thought it was just needed, much needed. Tomorrow, I'll be engaging in I may do a couple of live streams on Saturday and Sunday throughout the weekend. And I hope you all tune in. I appreciate you for being here. Have a nice night. Peace.